Ready for this? Hi, 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 hi. Welcome to Will Cook Music Reviews. I'm Will Cook, and this here is the start of my top 100 songs of 2020 countdown. I've been putting together a top 100 of the year list since 2014, but this is the first year that I have actually sat in front of the camera to talk about it. The top 100 is a big deal for me. You know, I find one of the greatest values of music is its ability to mark a moment in time. And I find when I look back on my lists from past years, I'm able to remember back to where I was at that point in my life. The 100 songs that make this list will be the songs that ultimately define my year of 2020 with music. So I take it pretty seriously. Throughout the year, I've been tossing the songs that make me want to listen to them again into a playlist of the best of 2020, and I ended up with over 300 songs when it came to the process of beginning to narrow down my top 100. There were some tough choices, and I've linked the playlist to the honorable mentions in the description below, but in the end, I've settled on 100 songs that I am very proud to have represent my year with music in 2020. This is the opening track on an album that I have had some of the most fun with this year, and I thought it would be a great way to kick off my top 100. I got one more from Oliver Tree left on this list, but it won't be showing up till much further in the countdown. I was seriously impressed with my first ever full dive into an album from The Weeknd earlier this year, and I just had to feature something from it. To me, he's the Michael Jackson of his generation, and there's no better song that highlights that than Blinding Lights. I gotta say, I was not expecting to find so many year-end contenders on an Of Montreal album, an artist I've struggled with in the past, but 5 of the 10 songs from his early year album were in the running for my top 100. One of them made it. This song here about polyamorous relationships hits me the most with the feeling it pulls off by dropping into the main refrain. Give me a drop with some shimmering emotive synths, and I'm satisfied. I discovered this guy on Instagram this year with his page devoted to all things pop punk. The music is kind of a side thing for him, but he showcases his knowledge and love for the genre in his recordings, and he absolutely kills it on this one. The frontman of one of my favorite alternative pop groups, the Wombats, released a solo album this year of synth-laced guitar pop that really shows his expertise in crafting a catchy hook. I love the somber feeling on this one, and I've got one more from him to come later in the countdown. This standalone single from the oh-so-cool James Vincent McMorrow is a best of the year pretty much just because I love the snappy drum pattern. Very tight with that hi-hat work and the snare, and just an overall very cool, kind of dark, driven track. Country is a genre I do not generally touch, but I was browsing new releases early this year, and I came across the name Feed the Kitty, which really intrigued me, so I checked out the album, and though I was not expecting it to be country music, I was massively impressed with some of these songs I found on it. This sad country song is the main one I would recommend, but I'd honestly recommend the whole album, even if, like myself, you're not a big country fan. You may just find yourself liking it. If you were a fan of Metro Station back in the day, then you have to check these guys out. Social Order is a bit of a super group consisting of Mason Musso, the lead singer from Metro Station, along with members from New Politics and the Mowglis. And they just started releasing singles this year, this being their second release, and it is an absolute dance pop hit. It's got these great night drive feels, easy but upbeat, a must hear in pop of 2020. Grouplove ended up... Grouplove release... Grouplove... Grouplove released their 4th album this spring, and there's just not much to it that's gonna keep me coming back, but the singles Deleter and Youth are both great, and this one ended up grabbing me a little bit more than the singles. I love the soft beat with the use of bongo drums in there, and the chorus has a way of stealing the air out of my chest with a really healing presence. Feels well fit for the year of 2020. As a guy who got into Grimes through the amazing 2015 album Art Angels, I had a feeling that my expectations would be hard to meet with her latest release, and yeah, I did not walk away from the album with much of note. But Delete Forever, this one's pretty special. It's moody, spacey, and just beautiful, really. Definitely the one big takeaway for me with Grimes in 2020. Honestly, I thought this band was long gone. I remember catching them years ago on some compilation album. Their song All Over You, it was a live version, and it's pretty much the best thing I remember pulling from the disc. And that's my history with the band. I never got around to their other stuff, and this is the first I've heard of them since, and wow, what a way to come back into my life. It's a lot different than the pop rock I remember them for. It's got this slow, auto-tuned, kind of folksy sound with some steel guitar in there. A gorgeous song that feels very much related to the pandemic, and it is one of my favorites of the year for a good sing-along. Gonna walk all over you. I had the privilege of speaking to this Vancouver indie artist in the fall ahead of the release of this single, and I was absolutely captivated by this song. With some creative use of a MIDI keyboard, she and producer Jordan Clausen created something very special. It's got a dark atmosphere, a bouncy beat, and the way the chorus pulls me in every time is why this song is a top 100 of the year. I was stoked when I found out that this emo rapper is originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba. He's one of the main reasons I got into the genre after his single Stranger last year. He put out a new album in November, and he showed me that he's got a lot more to offer. Thick, bassy beat to this song, stupidly catchy chorus, and this is not the highest charting song from him on my list. I have been loving what I'm hearing from this Australian alt-rock group. Their song Warsaw landed in the top 10 of my 2018, and nothing quite as stunning on their latest album, but still some great stuff. And this song shows off how good they are at really creating that mood within a song, and they hit the feelings home with the drop into the final chorus delivers an immense amount of emotional strength. Well, I got some decent enjoyment out of Awolnation's latest album from back in the spring. But this is the main song that I will be keeping close. Vocalist Aaron Bruno's Malibu studio was destroyed in the 2018 fires, and this song touches on his experiences during that time. It doesn't reach the heights of my favorites from AWOL, but the guy's good at packing in some feeling with a big hook, and this one definitely holds a lot of that, especially in the context of the song's background. I can't stand to see you fall. This indie pop group was a blip on my radar a year ago, but I ended up catching on to them this year as they released a handful of standalone singles, and I am loving what I'm hearing from them. They've got this nice balance of male and female vocals, and this is the main standout for me. It's not the first song on the list, and it won't be the last that I praise for its dark atmosphere. I love the moodiness of this oblique and very gripping track. Is this a sign that I'm obsessed? Yeah, more emo rap, another artist I've discovered in the past couple of years as I've delved more into the genre. Now this guy, he's not much of a singer. He actually acknowledges that in this song, but his deep, somber vocals are the perfect fit for the mood of this music. You got this rolling bass groove to the song that really pushes it along. I love the funny check part in the bridge, and then the drums cut away, leaving just the bass and vocals before bringing the beat back and cementing this song as a top 100. I found this Vancouver twin sister pop duo in my search for local music, and I have been so impressed with what I have heard from them. Come on. So impressed with what I have heard from them. Their EP released this summer has some great stuff on it, and this is as good as it gets for me. It's got this slow, soft, stomping beat, and it builds into this edgy hook that floods me with this dark and beautiful feeling. They pulled off something very special with this song.
I was at the gates, both said my boots on, no bullshit, and on both sides of that.
Well, you're not going to see much rap on this list, but this song is an exception. Aesop Rock released an album last month, and I'm not going to listen to it, but I did want to check out the song with the biggest streams, and that was The Gates, and I am just so impressed with the way he kills it with one long verse after another. I do not vibe with most rap music, but I am definitely vibing with this beat here, and I need that hook and the way he transitions into this one. I mean, dude, it feels so good. This Australian electropop group can be a bit abstract for my taste, but they have proven in the past that they know how to rip out some massive hooks, and this song here is a prime example of just how dazzling their music can be. The sparkling synths that flutter throughout the chorus elevate this song to this blissful but almost haunting mood that reminds me of why I just can't take my eyes off these guys. Kicking off the top 80, we have got one of the biggest bangers of the year. Not quite the highest peak of emotion off of Charli's Quarantine album. I'm saving that one for a bit later. But this one definitely hits the hardest.
Look me in the eyes, don't act so surprised.
Now, this Canadian duo has been on the grind for years, their biggest song at this point being a Billie Eilish cover. But their latest album really pushes this tight alternative pop sound, and I can see it catching on if people would just give it a try. And this song has a real way of driving the melody into my head with this fast attack of a hook that has that pull to it, well suited for the run playlist. Amidst all the new music this year that I was trying to stay on top of, I still found a bit of time to do some digging through the suggested playlists on Spotify, and this indie pop group out of Paris has got to be one of my favorite finds. It was this song that I found them with, and it was part of a pretty solid debut album, but it ultimately remained my favorite of the track list. There is a wonderfully charming sound from their smooth-voiced frontman, and the tight drum work is a huge standout. The hi-hat sound is so crisp, and that steady snare beat in the chorus works really well against the gentle guitar, pulling off this musical feeling that I find quite unique. This Canadian alt-pop group out of Winnipeg came into my life sometime last year when they were releasing a bunch of singles, most of which ended up on this 2020 album. The song Wake Me Back Up is insane, and it ended up in my top 10 of 2019. And then we got their self-titled debut full-length early this year, and though about half of it I had already heard from the previous singles, they still gave me some new gems, and this one takes the cake. Bright, emotive synths with an urgent hook. What more can I say? This song is an absolute stunner. I raved about this album in my top albums of the year video, and this is one of the biggest highlights. Frontman Will Gould displays one of my favorite vocal performances of the year with his deep, kind of Dracula-like voice in the verses that really opens up for this soaring chorus that is pretty addictive. This is the side project for Stephen Christian, the frontman of Anne Boleyn, a Christian rock band that I love. They called it quits back in 2014, though. He's been releasing music under this project for as long as I've known the band, but I just caught onto it this year. I found a few gems on it, but this was the big takeaway. It's got this pretty simple, soft beat with these gentle synth waves and a love song hook that is so damn infectious and sweet that I just had to showcase it on my top 100. YUNGBLUD returned with his sophomore album recently, and I found myself connecting with the more emotional rock on it, and Mars is close to as good as it gets. It calls back to mid-2000s pop rock with the nostalgic guitar, and it rips into this intense peak of feeling towards the end. It is so easy to connect with this song, and fuck does it ever feel good.
You were born to be an astronaut, and you'll do that.
This is just an epic rock masterpiece. Declan on the piano gives me Elton John vibes, and it's moments like this on his latest album that have me calling him a modern-day rock star. This is a wonderfully grand song that dips and crashes again, culminating with that final refrain of "You were born an astronaut, to do it or die trying." So yeah, it's pretty intense.
There will be a last time that we see.
Yeah, this one's heavy. Every album that has been released from this electronic pop duo over the years has given me year-end favorites, and they've given me a couple more with their latest. It was pretty clear when I first got into the song that it would be a year-end standout because it just speaks on the sad reality of death unlike anything I've heard before. There will be a last time that we see each other, the party will still be going, but we have to leave. This stuff cuts deep, and as hard as it is to hear, the soft, dreamy synths and the gentle vocals add a serenity to one of the most heartbreaking songs of the year.
As time moves on.
Yes, the band behind the OC theme song, California, they had a lot more to offer than that song. I loved these guys back in the day. Unfortunately, I did not vibe with most of the stuff off of their latest album. It was their first in over 10 years. I had high expectations and they were just not met. But it did give me this song, and for that I thank you, Phantom Planet. Just a soft, thudding beat, beautiful synths, and a chorus that, like many of my favorites, balances hopefulness with melancholy. Okay, I can only spend so much time in front of the camera, so I'm breaking this top 100 into a few parts. I'll have the rest of it coming in the following days. And if you've made it through these 30 tracks alone, then you are an absolute champ. By no means do I expect anyone to sit through and watch all of this stuff, but thank you for checking this out. I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you saw. Hit the subscribe. I've got more on the way, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to chat, and I'll see you next time.